Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, another brand new day. To my irritation, because habits are hard, new habits, well, that's not even true. Habits that I choose to make are hard to do. Habits that I just pick up through living, I pick up through living without even thinking about it, because I'm a human being, and that's what we do. But I have tried to be more inclusive with my intro, and in the last couple videos I've made game-wise, I've been failing. ADHD for the win. I require constant reinforcement right now, and I have my whole life, and even at that, it is a struggle. Life is life. Such is life. And for the Shelton, Washington weather report and spider report, last night when I went walkies, not late. I started when the sun was up, the sun was down when I got back. It was like coming up close on 9 o'clock. So it was a nice walk, and it's not raining now. The sun is coming up. It's going to be a day. That's a good thing. It's good to have days and nights, and it's good to have the planet revolve around the sun, and etc., etc., etc. So definitely a thumbs up on that. Not plus, but there are things. I did mention the whole spiders thing, because it's coming up, spring and summer and all that, and there's new life, new stuff. There's spiders everywhere. There's new gangly leg spiders in here, and down in the bathroom, there's new gangly leg spiders everywhere down there too. In my shower stall, which is rough because I'm going to have to get all the spiders out of the shower stall today. I plan on taking a shower. There are 3 gangly leg spiders that have been making up residence and moving all over the place. So I don't just want to kill them. I don't like killing. Things want to live. I want to live. I don't want to be crushed. I don't want to die. So I don't like the idea of crushing and killing anything else. I need to take a shower, and they are spiders, after all, are just tiny specks of protein in a candy shell. Because remember, chitin, the outer shell of insects, their exoskeleton, is made from saccharide, and saccharide is a form of glucose, and glucose is sugar. So yeah, insects and arachnids, anything with a shell like that crawls around on land is basically a speck of protein in a candy shell. We know, though, that they have emotions. They may not have feelings like, and thoughts like human beings, but they feel things. They have emotions. They probably feel terror. So I don't just want to kill them. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can just move them to either another part of the house, another part of the room, outside, which is another death sentence, because indoor spiders are adapted for indoor life. And inside of our houses, it is very sparse food as compared to outside. Spiders are adapted for that, house spiders, and so they thrive in the low food, low moisture environment. Throw them outside, they're not adapted for that anymore. So we'll see what happens. And this is the bigger one. Well, not the bigger one, but a bigger thing that I wanted to talk about, because I have been watching, once again, a lot of reaction channels and, reacting to older movies and older songs, and it really rubbed into my head the difference between older and more modern music. Now, again, I was born in 1962. Technically, by age, that makes me a boomer by like 2 years. But that's by age, by 2 years. I didn't grow up with boomers. My parents were boomers. I grew up with the next generation. I grew up on the 60s music and 60s protests And then 70s music is when, and 70s stuff is when I was a teenager. And then when I was an adult was in the 80s. So I wasn't a boomer by temperament or growing up. I've always been with the next generation. But when it comes to music again, I like listening to stuff that's just good. I don't really care about what time it came from. I know people that say, oh, I'm not going to listen to that, that's old. I don't listen to anything past a certain year. It's like, I don't care about that. If it's good, I want to listen to it. If it's good, I want to watch it. If it's good, that's what I care about. So people reacting to a bunch of like Beatles music and 60s and 70s and 80s stuff. 60s and 70s and even some of the 80s music was different. Even the popular stuff where they sold singles and played on the radio and made it up because they track, sales stuff. They had every week there was on the radio, they had the American Top 100 where they would go through, spitting there, my apologies, drooling around my dentures. They would go through and play the top 100 songs, the top 100 Billboard songs. And it took a couple hours, and the guy, Casey Kasem, would talk about the music and stuff, and so you got to hear it. Again, very, very different, because even the popular stuff, the really, really popular stuff we sort of expect stuff to come up with the modern framing. There's the build-up, the crescendo, the climax, and then it comes down a bit, and then it still ends fairly strongly. They didn't do that back then. Even very popular songs would be racing along, doing stuff, and then just sort of fade out, where they would just be having really good music, and then it would just go into a few notes of ba 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 bum ba ba bum ba ba ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding, and then it would just end that way. Nobody really ended stuff quote unquote well. I mean, there was the older songs like Roger Miller, who was like 50s and 40s and all that, and his songs would they would be 2 minutes of the stuff and then just start to repeat the stuff that was in the middle as it fades out. And then of course the 60s and 70s stuff they would just do random stuff until the song was over. It's bizarre. What a difference. And of course, they were much more exploratory back then, because they were really pushing a lot of things, like the Beatles. I was watching this one fellow reacting to the song, She's So Heavy. Now, I don't know, because even the Beatles were slightly before my time. I mean, I was just a kid when they were popular. And by the time they broke up, I was in kindergarten. So even the Beatles were before my time. But there's that one song, She's So Heavy, where apparently what they were doing is they just wanted to fill the end of a reel, which would end the album, because they didn't want to do another song. And so they were just jamming on the song until the tape ran out. And so, yeah, it goes heavy duty. They are just boom, 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 getting really into it, and it's just repetitive, and it's heavy, and you get into it, especially if you have any substances in your body. And then the song just ends. No fade out, no nothing, just it's going along and driving, and you're into it, and then it just chop. Because they hit the end of the tape, and so they ended the album. You flip the album over, it starts over again, the other side. So like, whoa. And there are a lot of things like that. The experimental music, they weren't afraid to hurt you. Even Pink Floyd, a very, very popular group way back when. There was the album Dark Side of the Moon, an incredible album. When I was a kid, again, 4th, 5th grade, when I and my friend, my delinquency as a youth started young, so when I was in 4th and 5th grade, I and a friend of mine were dipping into his parents' cannabis stashes. And so we would get really stoned in 4th grade and listen to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Now again, they weren't afraid to hurt you, because at one point on that album, the music is just, it's mellowish, it's kind of driving, so you're also into it, but it's not heavy, like that boom, boom, boom. No, you're into it, but it's lighter, and it's starting to fade, and it's get quieter and quieter over time, and then so you're just sort of drifting, and then an entire room full of clocks starts going off with their alarms. All these wind-up clocks, like a whole room full of wind-up clocks go off loudly. So you're into it. You're just going, oh, that was awesome. And then all these alarm clocks start going off, and it's just, it is a huge, just you're up and out going, oh my God. So they weren't afraid to hurt you back then. A lot of stuff we don't see. Modern music is fine. Modern music is good. Modern music does a lot of stuff, but there's no adventuresome part to it anymore, unless you get the smaller labels. The big labels are all focused on lowest common denominator, make the money. And so you don't have quiet stuff, you just have everything like a uniform loudness, just loud. And a lot of the subtleties are just gone because your artists aren't allowed to experiment. They've got to follow the formula, because if you don't make money, then you're gone. There's always been corruption and payola in everything. But back in the 60s, 70s, even the 80s and 90s, you were allowed as an artist to build an audience. If you released an album and it wasn't a platinum album, you were allowed to come up with a second album to try and build your audience. These days, when artists are signed up, they often don't even get to release an album. Their contracts are just cut because the RIAA and all of its subsidiaries just look and go, you know what? We don't think you're going to sell a platinum album. You're gone. There's no audience. If you don't have the anticipation built up to have a blockbuster platinum album for your first thing, you're not even given a chance. Which is why I think on the gaming front, the fact that all these great big companies, yeah, they're making more money than ever, unfortunately, but the smaller indie companies are just grabbing everything that the bigger companies left on the table because, oh, people don't want that. Yeah, people are hungry for that stuff, and they are snapping it up when the smaller people are coming along and going, hey, would you like this that the big companies aren't doing anymore? Yeah, take a look at things like Valheim, like 6 million sales in like 2 months. So, yeah. Ugh. There's a lot I actually was still going to talk about. I was actually going to talk about things like my inability to concentrate and all the things I did yesterday. I was going to talk about cosmic horror stuff, but instead I just rambled on about this. So thank you very much for coming along with me on these journeys of exploration. It is a very, very good thing. Again, I have to talk, and I'm just a tiny channel, and the way the algorithms worked, I watched a video on it where I'm never going to get anywhere. The fact that I've got a ton of subscribers but a small amount of viewers means I'm never going to be really shown around and given the opportunity, because the algorithms are training people to do things. If you try to go against the algorithms, you aren't being shown to anybody. And also, one of the things they look at is when you release a video, the algorithms check, how does your audience view it? I've got 250,000 subscribers, and I get 200 views on a video if I'm lucky. That means My videos aren't even popular among my own audience, which means YouTube isn't going to say, hey, you people out there and that's not subscribers, you want to see it? Because even my audience doesn't like my videos, so why are they going to promote them? So if you are a viewer, no matter how you happen to become one, thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated to no end. I want to talk more about YouTube and all that, but I'm going to save that for another day as well, because I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. I am not reading the comments right now. I'm going to read them afterward. Thumbs up each one I do. Answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. So thumbs up on that, and thank you very much. If I pronounce the username, and oh boy, do I ever. No disrespect is intended. I am an American English speaker, and even though I do better than most, I'm still an American English speaker living in the United States of America. And even though I count in American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand with my depression, fibro, and more, I sometimes forget where I am, what I'm doing, and what my name is. So, Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Richard Cray, thumbs up and thank you. James Platt, thumbs up. Din Corta, greatly appreciated. Henry Giovanetto, thumbs up and thank you. Ricky Bettini with the daily reminder to live every day to its fullest. And yeah, Ricky Bettini is unfortunately going through some pretty stressful times. I'm very sorry. Lucid Dream, thumbs up and thank you. Sebastian Ferris, greatly appreciated. Good to see you. Luby Tulipani, I'm hopefully close. Shang Tsung, thumbs up and thank you. Michael Wood, greatly appreciated. Splash X, thumbs up and thank you. We have Weird T, greatly appreciated. Christopher Thomas, I sure hope I'm close. And then I have no idea how well I've been counting. I have messed everything up. So Glenn Anderson, greatly appreciated. The girl with the dragon tattoo, thumbs up and thank you. Amber, it's cold in here, thumbs up and thank you. Rivers Allen, greatly appreciated. Chalaco, thumbs up and thank you. Man Bun, additionally multiple friend, that's a heck of a name, but thumbs up. Matthias Hertquist, I sure hope I'm close. And that is it. Thumbs up. Thank you, each and every one of you. I have no ideas how many people that was, because as you saw, I lost track, so just counted until I hit yesterday. No, not counted, but thanked everyone until I hit yesterday. So thumbs up and thank you all so very much. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people, if only in text, and that is appreciated to no end. If you could check out my various things down below, I have Twitter, Facebook, Patreon.com. If you could become a Patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. You're helping to keep me alive. You're putting food in my belly and keeping a roof over my head. Thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated. If you could check out my various things down below, I just did that one, didn't I? Yeah, patreon.com, oh, I hate disrailing myself. I get lost so much, but I have to. So, let's see. If you could toss me a like, I sure hope I'm close on my own spiel. That would be very cool. I appreciate all the positive validation I get for my existence. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very, very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. Sorry for messing that whole thing up. I am so good at that. Definitely a thumbs up on that as well. Cool. And of course, the horse head of encouragement, even though it wears the great and powerful lobster hat, still wishes the very best for each and every one of us. We are a beautiful and wonderful species, and even though we have no opportunity to wear the lobster hat, we do have the potential to be angels or demons. The lobster hat wearing horse head of encouragement hopes that we can be angels. And of course, Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate. Good golly, Miss Molly. And during these hard times, try to stay as safe and creative as you possibly can. It is a good thing to keep the juices flowing in your head. Again, a very thumbs up. So if you don't have to go out, please don't go out. But if you do, wear a mask, wash your hands, try not to touch your face, maintain your social distancing. It's a good thing. You really, really, really don't want to get this. Thumbs up on that. So, You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.